Hello, Aries Creators Tribe. Welcome to Creators on the Crest. My name is Stephanie. Blazer the Morkie is in the other room with family members, but he did get a new SpongeBob shirt, which is really super cute. So I'll have to bring him on with his little shirt because it's adorable. This time we are doing your May monthly predictions reading, and I am going to pull your overall energy, and then we're going to do the Celtic cross spread, which I like to do for the monthlies, and we'll close it off with a special message for the Aries collective. Do keep in mind these are general readings, and when we're looking at predictions, they are potential energies. So you should only take what resonates and leave the rest. It has been really weird to do Aries at the end of the 12 in the cycle because Aries usually kicks things off, but we are celebrating Taurus season now. Happy birthday to all the Taurus crew out there. Do stick around at the end of the reading, and I will share all of the ways that you can participate in the creators community and make the most of my channel. Okay, Aries, let's get your overall energy from the Starry Beginnings Oracle for the month of May. Ooh, this is very nice, Aries. You got a number 10 card here. Something no longer, or someone no longer holds power over you. Dissolve attachments of the past with love. Dissolve attachments of the past with love. That's really beautiful energy. The 10 is a number of completion. Ones and zeros are going to be your numbers for the month. And I really love this beautiful blue calming energy that I see here in the picture here. So the month of May, you're going to recognize, you're going to feel lighter maybe. Something no longer holds power over you. Could even be a subconscious thought of your own. You're kicking off the month of May feeling pretty good. Your energy is the Four of Wands. I think that's an energy that you can really relate to. You're feeling stability. You're feeling like you can breathe a little. You're feeling a little bit of freedom. You're having a little bit of fun. You may be wanting to attend some parties or get-togethers or graduations or celebrations of some kind. You're being challenged, however, by the Hanged Man here, the Hanged Man position. Now, this may have you feeling a little resistant at times to getting out, and it may be something that you have to overcome. But there also could be this tendency of you for the month of May to do your hangouts and do your extroverted stuff, and then take time to get some peace and some more introverted solitude. All right, so looks like that might be a little bit challenging for you. Some of you might have a pretty full schedule and feel like you don't have enough time for yourself in May. So maybe you can look ahead if you're listening to this reading and make sure that your calendar, while it might be busy, doesn't overwhelm you. In your needed focus, partnerships is coming up with the Two of Cups here. This is love and exchange of energy here. This may be something that you're desiring or someone that you're desiring. Or this could be recognizing the detachment from someone that once had power over you, or the relationship had power over you, meaning your energy, your time, what you invest in there. We're going to have to get some clarifiers to see. In the past, the energy of the Eight of Wands is showing up. Something maybe came to a point really quickly, came to a head really quickly. Something fell away really quickly. There was some sort of transformative energy that happened very quick. Could have been some sort of action you took as well to influence that. And then in your future position, I like this. You get the Ace of Cups. You've got a beautiful energy of being heart-focused here. This would make a lot of sense with something no longer holding a certain power over you. You kind of experience this return to the heart space and begin to hold valuable and sacred that energy in the heart. In your place of embodied empowerment, you have the Nine of Wands. Being a little more cautious is serving you for the month of May. Maybe it is because in the past there's been some sort of attachment that's really bothered you. And so you're very cautious to say, whomever and whatever is coming into my field, I have to make sure that they're in alignment with me. that they're not someone I have to protect myself from again, or this isn't some way that I will be wounded again or taken advantage of again. I like how you're using the fire energies here. I really do. What I'm seeing, I see that 4 of Wands, I see the 8 of Wands, I see the 9 of Wands. You're really having this part of you that's not in an overbearing state, but it's using that fire element to navigate and work through some of the energies. Because Aries, you guys sometimes, get a bad rap for being a little too pushy, a little too headstrong. And I don't see you doing that. I don't see you doing that in the month of May. For your support and allies, you have the Fool. And I love that she holds in the back hand, she holds the wand and a beautiful amethyst crystal in the front hand. Lots of clarity about what you're passionate about, who you're passionate about, the freedom to seek that out. Some of you may have had a relationship ending, or, just something significant, some sort of partnership ending. Could have been a business partnership, but you're letting go of that now, and you have the freedom to move on with your own fire, with your own devices, with your own growth potential here. And it feels good. You have a freedom that's supporting you in the month of May. In your environment, you have the 3 of Wands. So May kind of feels like maybe you think there's not a lot happening. All right, like there's not a lot going on. You're working with the minor arcana energies of fire, at least so far. We are going to clarify, but kind of seems like you might be waiting for your ship to come in or waiting to catch the best wave. But at the same time, something's happening here. And I think when we're going through a transition in partnership or in a relationship, and something that was taking up all of our time and energy is shifting, it can be like, okay, what next? There was that, but now. And in your hopes and fears, you get the Tower. I honestly feel like this is you breaking down what caused someone or something to have power over you in the first place. Now, because it comes up on that fine line, that tightrope we walk of our hopes and our fears, two sides of the same coin, there is this energy of, ooh, this is tricky. This is difficult. It doesn't always feel good. And I think you're working through that energy of sometimes the things that don't feel good are just the growing pains of discomfort versus understanding what really doesn't feel good because it's wrong, manipulative, painful. You're making a distinction there that I think is really important. In your potential outcome, you have the 4 of Pentacles. You may choose to be a little more private for the month of May, keep things a little closer to the vest. You may want to hold back from doing a lot of spending because maybe you're resolving some things, right? You're going through some transformations here that are important. I think you're going to flow through it pretty well, but you may just want to hold the things that are important to you a little closer. Maybe there's an uptick in the appreciation that you have for the things that you've been able to earn and what value they really do have in your life. All right. Let's get in some clarifiers here. Well, this one fell right out for the 4 of Wands. Just needing to get a lot of oxygen here. All right, for the 4 of Wands, what fell out was the Devil card. And then you get the 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, I think that some of you may be up against an invitation or an expectation of someone's, and it may be about coming together with people. It may be a job expectation for some of you with that 3 of Pentacles, or someone's just trying to kind of corner you into planning something with them. With the Devil card energies there, it feels like more work than it's worth, and those energies feel a bit rigid. Kind of felt more of a free-spirited energy that you're carrying in May, and so some of the expectations or responsibilities may be a little bit much, I think you're going to work through it though with this 3 of Pentacles. I think you're going to find the path of least resistance through it all and be able to come into a balanced place. Maybe if it's with another person, I think the other person may be learning about not getting too wound up in expectation, unfair expectation on you or others. They may be the kind of person who kind of does that. And so, yeah, it would make sense if you're kind of up against this expectation with, maybe it's family members, maybe you got to show up for this, show up for that, make yourself known, make an appearance, and it kind of feels a little bit false. It feels a little bit controlled, a little bit fake-ish to you. You just have to remember who you are and be who you are. Be the wonderful, vibrant Aries that you are, and not really worry about what other people think. If it's related to your job, it may be something you just have to kind of make the best out of it. Yeah, I think you'd rather be spending time. There's this part of you that would rather be spending time working on yourself a little bit. You got the 3 of Swords here and the 7 of Wands. And maybe for someone to have expectations of you, especially unrealistic expectations of you, even though you're a high energy sign and you carry that forward momentum so well, you're always kicking things off. Maybe somebody has the unfair expectation that you should do it in the situation they want you to do it in, right? That you should lead. And that's causing you a little bit of, like, you're kind of maybe hurt that somebody has kind of forced your idea. For some of you, maybe somebody's like dropped your name into a pot that you're named, you don't want your name dropped into that pot. Somebody's trying to get you to go meet with somebody you really don't want to meet with. You feel like your time is more valuable working on yourself and working through some of the things that you need to work on. Like, you know what you need to work on, and you would like to put a little more time toward that, but you have too much coming at you. So I feel like May is pretty busy, and maybe what you're working on dissolving attachments to is lack of time. All right, lack of time. You may be changing your relationship with time with that Hanged Man. It almost gives me the sense of you go outside the temporal to figure this out. Let's look at this 2 of Cups here and your needed focus. You got the Chariot and the 7 of Pentacles. Yeah, when it comes to partnerships, specifically what others expect of you, Aries, I feel like you only really want to nurture those relationships and situations that help you move forward, whether they be a lesson, like a hard lesson, or they be a good lesson, like easy lesson, fun lesson. You're not looking to be held back by someone anymore, or with someone who doesn't allow you to nurture what you're trying to build and grow. For others of you, you're looking for someone, or the universe is saying you can. Hey, Aries, you have permission to look for someone now who can ride in that chariot with you, who will nurture these energies with you. Maybe there's someone in your environment, because of all the stuff going on, that you've just overlooked. So while you're dissolving what no longer works, maybe someone's going to come to the forefront here, because the universe is kind of calling that out. Like, someone may come into your periphery, into your purview here to make themselves known. And I feel like you are in the chariot. I don't feel like that's someone else's chariot. I think someone may be coming to ride in your chariot. All right, let's see. Let's see. Really depends what kind of situation you're in or partnerships you're in right now, or the potentials that you're hoping for there. Let's look at this 8 of Wands, which you're leaving in the past. The Knight of Pentacles and the 6 of Cups. Some of you may be releasing someone from your childhood, or you're just releasing, like, maybe you've been sentimental and reminiscing a lot about your childhood where things felt pretty good, where the pace of life was a little slower with that Knight of Pentacles, where you got to stay up late on the weekends and play like Dungeons and Dragons with your friends. There's this maybe nostalgic kind of energy that you know, I think at times it comes back up within you and you have a little bit of sadness about that not being there anymore. Or you want to try to recreate the way things were, but at the same point, you have to admit to yourself that things are different now. And that kind of all comes together and kind of goes boom. There's kind of a speed up and a slow down all at the same time, which would make it a little tricky for you to balance out your calendar even today. So I don't know if some of you too might feel like you missed an opportunity to act. It kind of feels to me like maybe you had something to offer and what you're leaving behind or dissolving is some regret about not offering someone love, not moving in and offering them something, and maybe some other person came in and so it's like a missed opportunity with someone there. Some of you could be releasing a bit of that because you've let it bog you down with like guilt and shame and regret. And those are heavy energies that eventually will have to be released. Let's look at this Ace of Cups in your future position. You get the 8 of Cups and the 3 of Wands. Yes, this is you really coming into your heart space and staying true to yourself. Walking away from maybe an idea of the past or that nostalgic sentiment that you had about someone from the past and looking to the future, looking to someone or something new that may come in for you here that's more aligned with the Aries of today. And I think some of you are going to be on the lookout for that. And others of you who feel maybe a little bit stuck in that energy of like, but that was so good and I should have, or that person would have been the perfect match for me, or find yourself saying that, you're going to be experiencing in May a letting go of those emotional energies so you can finally free yourself and walk away from that. At the end of the day, if you're meant to be with someone, your soul will find its way back, but that doesn't necessarily make it any easier for you to work through it emotionally and mentally in this lifetime at this point, right? It's like there's that soul level trust that in the long run, everything will work out. You'll come back around, but you're legitimately having this human experience with your thoughts and emotions right now. That is also as important as understanding the soul level, because this is the place here on earth in our human form where we do the hardest of the work, right? In your place of embodied empowerment, being a little more cautious with that 9 of Swords, you got the Queen of Swords and the Hierophant. Yep, this is you really honoring your own inner authority here and not letting anyone who would try to damage that, or any environment or any expectations coming from outside of yourself. Like even for some of you, I'm getting it would be like societal expectations that have been impressed upon you. You are learning to come into your own authority with it. And maybe there's something in your environment that you've got your eye on. You're like, that energy doesn't feel good. I have to be aware of that, or I have to be aware of that kind of person's influence on my life. And I'm going to uphold my boundaries, and I'm going to stick with the clarity that I know to be true. I am going to be okay with being a little more cautious. I don't get that this cautiousness is bleeding into like pessimism or blocking everyone and everything. I just think there's certain energies that you're trying to uphold, and that energy needs to be your own inner authority first and foremost. And so you're bringing clarity to the fact that you're allowed to be more cautious and not let new attachments latch onto you that would bog you down. And for some of you, that's a past situation or person. Good work. Okay. It's not easy. It's not easy to do this, what you're doing here. Because you feel a certain way. You have pain too. You have tears too about this, right? It's not just all Aries got it, you know, like it can be hard at times for you, and you're processing some of this. For the Fool, in your place of support and allies, you got the Five of Swords and the Magician. Ooh, I really like this. It's the 0 of the Fool moving to the 1 of the Magician. And because we have the Five of Swords coming up here, it's through the conflict and the imbalance and maybe the attachment to the past that's actually helping you in this next part of the journey, the next turn of the wheel here. This is beautiful energy because you are now able to look back and say, okay, I'm looking back and I see how I was holding myself back, and I am going to move into some of these more free-flowing energies where I can reconnect again with my magic and with what makes me me and my purpose in the world. And so that's a very supportive energy for you. I would say, again, look at your calendar. If there's any engagements that you feel like you need to take space from, back away from, put distance between any engagements, responsibilities, maybe looking ahead, maybe there's going to be a certain time that's sensitive for you. You would like to take a day off work around there or something like that. That's going to be helpful. Let's look at this Three of Wands in your environment here. Okay. The Hanged Man again. We had the Hanged Man in your challenge. So we know in your environment right now it feels a bit challenging, but there you are showing up as the King of Wands with this Three of Wands. So guess what energy is going to overcome? It's going to be your fire that overcomes the energy. So throughout the reading, I was seeing you really work with the subtle energies of fire so very nicely. And I think that's great. But here you show up in your place of mastery with the fire element. And I think it's understanding that you digging into and spending some time with the way that maybe you've held your own self back in order to please. Some of you may have that people-pleasing tendency thing going on. I know I have had that before, you know, or still get challenged with that situation. That may be it. Some of you maybe don't want to disappoint a sibling or a parent, or, you know, you're forced to go to this one thing, or you feel forced to go to this one thing, and you'd rather be working on yourself, but at the same time, it's opening up the opportunity for you to see something too that you need to dissolve. So we've got kind of double benefits here. Now I'm getting a really interesting kind of feeling here in under my ear, kind of along the neck here. Some of you may not really be liking certain things you're hearing. I think it's what you're processing with your left brain, since this is coming up on my masculine right side here. For some of you, I do feel like there's a certain societal, cultural inversions and influences that maybe have taken you off course in the past, but now you're wise to them, you're hearing them, you're seeing them, you're processing them differently. That could be what some of you are dissolving. Let's look at this Tower card and your hopes and fears. You got the Nine of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands, so there's that active fire energy coming up for you again, but also with gratitude, appreciation, and just a humble pride about what you've created, how you've been able to navigate this human experience, because this human experience is not easy. How you've been able to transform the things that even seem like breakdowns into something of stability. Some of you have quite the eye for repurposing or repurposed materials. I'm getting that for some of you. Like, you know how to take things that other people would think are broken and utilize them in a creative and unexpected way. That's cool. That's a cool little talent to have. I like that. You're kind of industrious like that, but with a creative flair. Let's look at this Four of Pentacles for you in the potential outcome. Five of Cups and King of Pentacles. Oh yes, okay. So some of what you're going to be releasing throughout the month of May has to do with security. It has to do with your abundance and the way it's been affected. I think some of you have connections to the great divide of resources amongst humankind, and that not being very humane, and that being something that bothers you, and that being something that as you take steps toward the future and as you kind of bulldoze and blaze the way for everyone else, you would have that be more balanced. So I think some of you are really dealing with this. That's big. That's big energy, the inequalities. It makes you very sad that others are stuck in these certain inversions. And you know what? They're not always going to listen to you. And I think you've learned that. And that may be why this Four of Pentacles is here. You're realizing here, Aries, by the end of the month that you influence much better when you become the example. Remember, you're the leader of the zodiac. You get things going. So when people see you being it, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to force the topic. You don't have to make all these moves to get their attention. They will just see you being in that energy. At least the right people will. The right people who support this more evolutionary path forward, this more balanced path forward for humanity. So some of you, yeah, I get chills. You really like seeing that and you really like feeling that. And gosh, think about all the cobwebs that have to be cleared and all the veils that have to be pierced to get in that energy. But I really like how you're using your fire for the month of May. I really like how you're coming to this just more mature conclusion. Some of you are releasing the younger versions of yourself and your regrets and reintegrating those in a more positive way, repurposing your own energies, repurposing materials. I think that's fascinating and desirable. I wish I could do more of that, you know, as well. I'm a cardinal energy with my Cancer, so I can get things moving, but I usually need others to help me keep them moving and get them completed. Okay, we're pulling you a final message from the Angel Dreams Oracle, Aries, to close off your reading. You got the new waxing moon, conception, inner self, and expansion. The new waxing moon. And honestly, right now, as I sit here recording this reading, we've just passed the Taurus new moon. And Taurus new moon, what I'll call 2.0 energies. We are in the new waxing moon energies, Aries. So you're right on point. Conception, inner self, and expansion. And it's the kind of energies that need no extra definition. People are just feeling you. People are just knowing that you're paving the way just by leading by example. You don't have to say anything. Really cool. Aries, thanks for sticking around because I want to tell you about how to make sure you make the most of this community here at Creators on the Crest. Check the description below, give a little more information there about the reading itself, but also I have links to personal reading, donations, an Amazon wish list, all the good stuff. You can check that all out below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, get involved. It all helps with the growth and momentum. Maybe bring someone that you know is like-minded or like-hearted to the channel. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Creators on the Crest, and I run specials from time to time on Instagram and Facebook stories, so keep your eye out there for that. I'm here every Friday from 10 a.m. to noon Central for Frequency Friday. It's a collective, fun, casual, chill hangout. We talk all the good metaphysical stuff. We talk astrology, numerology, we talk crystals, we talk whatever the community wants to talk about, okay? I've even pulled the community quite a bit because I love to get your input. And if that's a busy time for you, not to worry, the replay is always posted with timestamps for your convenience so that you can listen to it over the weekend or whenever it's convenient for you. And then every other Sunday night, I'm here live on the channel for live Q&A, and this is where you come on. You get a personal tarot reading when you ask a question in the live chat. 7 to 8 Central. The next one is May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. That's coming up. Sunday evenings, come in, drop in the live chat. It's super high vibe. It's super fun. We've got a supportive community. Make yourself at home. Drop in your question. Or you can just ask for the highest and best general message for yourself. And we have a load of fun. It's a power-packed hour. I'm just gonna run through those readings, and I stop usually at 8 on the dot unless my intuition tells me to continue. So I do try to maintain those healthy boundaries for my own time, since we're talking about that in your reading today. So I'd love to see you there. Aries, thank you for joining me and allowing me to read these energies for you. I wish you so much success in all of the energies that you'll be exploring for the month of May. I will see you next time.